Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Ketron SD3 Arranger Sound Module Drum Machine. Very nice utility, very nice tool for the MIDI accordion player or for the MIDI guitar player or for any controller that has MIDI. We're going to show you today exactly a step-by-step situation or step-by-step procedures on how to set this up so it can work well with your MIDI accordion. First thing you want to do on the SD3 is you want to look for your power jack. We have one back here, regular 3-prong model, like this, and that's going to be plugged in to the power supply unit right there. The SD3s ship out with an automatic voltage switch, so this machine runs from 100 volts to 240, so it can be used both in the United States and overseas in Europe. Now, we're going to use this MIDI cable. They normally say the shorter the cable, the better. We have a 10-foot cable here. And because we're going to use this as an arranger, we're going to use the MIDI into keyboard jack. The SD3 has 2 MIDI in jacks. Why do you have 2? Well, one is for using with the controller in terms of live situation, like the MIDI accordion, the MIDI guitar, or a regular keyboard controller. And the other, which is the in-1 GM jack, is for use with a sequencer, in other words, a computer. So for the case of this demo, we're going to use the MIDI into keyboard jack. That's where you plug your MIDI cable in. And the other end of the cable goes into your MIDI output jack from the MIDI accordion. Once you have these two set up, you're pretty much ready to go. Now, we're going to show you one more thing. We're going to use the optional foot switch. The FS13 or the FS6 foot switch pedal is a device used to control many functions on the SD3 or on most of the Ketron products, as a matter of fact. This frees up your hands so that you can actually concentrate on your performance while you're playing and use your feet to concentrate on maneuvering the functions and features of the Ketron product. So we're going to go ahead and plug this in, and I'll show you in a second how to program this so that each of these pedals does what you want it to do. For an example, this could be my start-stop, this could be my voice change, this could turn on my vocalizer, this could change the program, this could do my fill-in and intros, etc., etc. So now we're going to take the cable, which comes out of the FS13 or the FS6 pedal board, and we're going to plug it into the back of the SD3 or the SD5, the similar machines. And we're going to go into where it says foot switch. The foot switch connector is where you're going to connect this into. So what you do, make sure everything is nice and sturdy. You get a little click sound. And you use these two knobs here to fasten the connector jack into the SD3. So in case somebody bangs on this when you're traveling or when you're performing, it doesn't come off. So pretty much now we have 3 items. We have the power plug plugged in, we have the MIDI cable that brings data from your accordion or your guitar or your keyboard and tells the SD3 what to do. And then we have a foot switch that brings data from the pedal board, the FS13 or the FS6, and tells it what to do. The one thing we're lacking right now is the cable that's going to go into your speaker system or your stereo system. For the case or for the sake of this demonstration, we're using a powered speaker. So we're going to take the output of the Ketron unit into our powered speaker. And that output can either be the left mono or the right. Since we're just using one signal for now, we're going to use the left mono. But we advise you to strongly use the 2 jacks, left and right, because of the fact that most of the sounds and the arrangement in the Ketron products are panned. Some of them are panned to the left and some of them panned to the right, and they're pretty much in stereo. So to get the full benefits of the full usage of the machine, we would strongly advise you to use stereo cables. And that's pretty much it for your connection or your basic connection of the Ketron SD3 or the SD5. The first thing you want to do when you get the SD3 out and running is you want to set the SD3 MIDI channels to receive on the same channels that the accordion is coming out of. You're going to press the F6 MIDI button. That brings you to the MIDI screen. And then you're going to press F2, which is channel receive. And then you're going to use F10 and toggle until F10 displays accordion 1 right there in the lower section of the screen. And now, if you notice, the right is set for channel 1, the left channel 2, and the bass for channel 3, which is this general MIDI settings for the international MIDI accordions. Once this has been accomplished, you want to save the setting permanently into the SD3's internal memory. The reason why you want to do this is because if you don't do this, the next time you turn this machine off and turn it back on again, you'll have to do this all over. Yes, you will. So to save the setting, first of all, you want to save the MIDI setting. You press the save button while you are still in the MIDI channel reception screen. So I'm going to go ahead and press save, and the screen is going to display save MIDI setup. And what I want to do now is to press F10, which corresponds to the save. Save, wait please, and it's done. Step 2, I want to press exit. I'm going to press the save button, and I want to save power on setup. In other words, I want to save this setting so that when the machine powers on every single time, those MIDI settings which I saved will instantly be recalled. I'm going to press F3, which corresponds to power on setup. And I'm going to press F10, which corresponds to save. Voila. And that's it. The next final step to do is we have to go into utilities. And you see F1 says accordion. We want to put the machine in the accordion mode so you can transmit like bellow responses and so on and so forth from the accordion. So I'm going to press F1, which corresponds to the accordion mode, and I'm going to press F10 until F10 displays active. Now the SD3 is in the accordion mode. Again, I'm going to exit, and to prevent myself from having to do this all the time, I'm going to press save. I'm going to press power on setup, which is F3, and I'm going to press save, which is F10, and that's it. The power on setup is always used when you do a change in the configuration of the internal memory of the machine. Again, remember, it just prevents you from having to do this all the time, especially if you're using the SD3 for live performances on stage. Now that we have the SD3 up and running, I'm going to show you how we can actually program the FS6 or FS13 pedals. For example, here we have the FS13 pedal board, which we're going to use. To program the pedals, all you have to do pretty much is you press the utility button, which is F3, and that takes you to the first screen, the first page of the utility screen. And then you press the F4, which is corresponding to the foot switch button right here. And now we are in the foot switch screen. As you can see displayed, you have numbers 1 through 13, which correspond to switches 1 through 13 on the FS13 pedal, or you can just use 1 through 6, which will correspond to switches 1 through 6 on the FS6 pedal. To select the pedal, all you do is you use the cursor button up and down, and you select the pedal you want to program. And to select the function that that pedal gets assigned to, you use the left and right cursor buttons, and you go through all the different functions. So for this example, I'm going to assign pedal number 1 to arranger A. What does that mean? It means that when I press pedal number 1, arranger A gets selected. I'm going to move down to pedal number 2, and I'm going to program that to arranger B. I'm going to move down to pedal 3 and make that arranger C. Move down to 4 and make that arranger D. So now, if you look closely, when I press pedal number 1, the LED on arranger A lights up. And when I press pedal number 2, B comes on. So if I'm performing and playing the accordion, I don't have to at any point in time leave the machine and try to figure out what's going on over here. All I have to do is press number 1, press number 2, press number 3, and keep those guys on the dance floor happy.